Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Vulnerability Time. I am your host and published author, Josias Abro. Okay, so y'all know, oh gosh, sorry, just allergies are just running in my nose, and we love allergies, don't we, folks? We love it. So y'all remember, for those who've been with me since season 1, y'all remember when I used to record a couple bonus episodes. There's not been many, but just a couple bonus episodes of, conversations that I had with my higher power and or my higher self. So I would just be talking about the pain, but I made sure the pain doesn't go in vain, so I recorded it as well, because maybe you can relate. Hopefully my pain is somebody else's purpose, because sometimes it just feels, not all the time, but sometimes it just feels like my pain is just, the pain is paining, Thankfully now I'm able to see okay, yeah, this is the purpose of it. Yay, this is the learned lesson from it. But there is that small percentage of pain that I'm just like, this is so fucking unnecessary. This is so unnecessary. I'm a fan of crying. Cry your heart out. Crying is healthy. I love to say, the day that I became my strongest was the day that I gave myself the courage to cry. Let's just mic drop that. That is something I like to say, because that is something that is actually true. That is, I was talking to my higher self, and my higher self gave me that statement. And I was talking to the higher powers and all that good stuff, Holy Spirit, the universe, the spirit guides, all that good stuff. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, support, right? Or I don't know the word for it. I guess I'll figure out a word for it or a title for it after I finish recording this. There we go. So this is a conversation currently that I'm having with my higher self, my higher powers. And I stopped the conversation because I was like, let me hit this on record, because this feels like unnecessary pain, but I'm going to make sure it does not go in vain. This better help somebody, because I was just like, I'd be damned, this shit happened in vain. I'm just like, oh no, I don't want nor need unnecessary pain. You know what I mean? Like, it's either going to help me or it's going to help someone else, or both. Because I was just like, I don't want my life to have unnecessary pain. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. I'm sure you can tell by the tone of my voice. I'm over it. I'm over the fucking unnecessary pain. Like, seriously, I'm fucking over it. I was just talking, right? And this is where I ended off my conversation. I said, if I had $1 million, I promise you, I would make sure, if I have $1 million, it won't just be a smile on my face. I know how it's like to not have $1 million. So when I make it, when I get $1 million, my blessings aren't just gonna be for me. I'm not just gonna just store up my blessings. No, I'm gonna randomly bless somebody else or multiple people. If I have it, I will do it. I will fucking do it. Seriously, I know what it feels like to not have money. That's me right now, folks. We're living the broke boy life currently. We're living and we're learning. Being broke is teaching me a lot of stuff, actually. A lot of spiritual stuff and other life skills that I didn't even know that I needed. So that's actually really cool about being broke, as long as it's not for no reason. But anyways, one day when I'm a millionaire, we're just gonna speak it out there, right? One day when I'm a millionaire, I'm not gonna be the only one eating. I'm going to make sure other people are eating. I'm going to literally randomly and I've done this before. I wasn't a millionaire. Trust me, it was far from it. But when I had some money in the past, I would just, every now and then, when I had the money, I would just randomly text friends, hey, I feel like blessing you today, and I would just send them some money. Just because I personally don't want my gifts, I don't want it stingy. I don't. I want to share my gifts. And the reason why this frustrates me is because I come from a past where when folks had gifts, they were stingy. They forgot where they came from. They forgot where, and I'm talking about family. They forgot what it was like to not have a certain gift, right? And so now when they got a gift, they decide to keep it all for themselves and look down upon those that don't have the gift, And so I've noticed that starting to affect me. And I will say I am holding back on what I really want to say because I'm struggling with selective vulnerability right now. I am afraid of and it's weird because it's like I can be extra vulnerable in all the abuse, you know what I mean? But when it comes to something like support, it's hard for me to be vulnerable. I feel fragile, and feeling fragile, that is one of the best places to be when you're in your healing journey, because when you're fragile, that means you're most susceptible, but that's why I am holding back on the vulnerability. But I'll just say this, because this is vulnerability time. One of the main things about the podcast is, at least what I have helped use it for myself, is, listening to others' journey. And because of their journey, I go more inward. So I learn more about myself as well. I go into the parts of myself that I don't want to go into. I go into the shadow self. I'm struggling with support right now. I feel like I've got a lot of projects out, right? And I feel like I'm on my own. I feel like I'm all alone on it, and it sucks because on the other hand, it's not like I'm asking for help. The few times that I did ask for help, I would say like a couple, there was like a couple of support, but majority of the time that I did ask for help, in the support area, when it comes to my many of projects, it's hurtful, when you think you have support, but you don't. They always say once you start doing even greater things, you start to see, you'll start to see weight fall off, right? You'll start to see weight fall off. Let's just say that. And it hurts because it could be something that you never even saw as a weight. You never saw it as a weight, but it fell because it had to. That's what happens when you elevate and many of areas of your life, just in general, just forms of elevate. You're climbing up to the top of the mountain. That's where it's beautiful. But the more you climb up, the heavier things can get. Yeah. So I am feeling exhausted. I'm wanting to quit. I'm wanting to quit the podcast. I'm wanting to quit all of my projects. I'm just wanting to quit. I hate the human societal conditioning mindset that we have to do everything on our own. Y'all know that's a modern age concept, right? The modern age. That's a modern age mindset. Never in history was it applauded to do everything on your own. People actually acknowledged the collaborative experience. People actually, acknowledged the team work. Now in our modern society, we are told so much that you got to do everything on your own. You. And everything gets so individualized. We give one person credit for a whole company when that person couldn't have got to the top without others. And so it kind of like internalizes us to view others that need help and be like, oh, they got to do it on their own. Oh, well. Or, oh, I did it on my own. So can they. Listen, that I learned from me. How about that? I learned from my experience that just because I could do something on my own, that doesn't mean the other person can. And that doesn't even mean that they have to do it on their own. One, their circumstance was completely different than mine. I'm going through a level 10 being awful of a circumstance, and I did it on my own. I didn't want to do it on my own, okay? But, so I did it on my own. However, this person over there, they're going through a level 12. On a scale of 1 to 10, they're going through a level 12 of just trauma. Of course, they can't do it on their own. They're human beings. We can't do it on our own. We're not supposed to do everything on our own. Literally, that is the dumbest, most ignorant modern age concept, mindset that we have been taught, that we have been conditioned, because now we all think it. Well, I don't want to say all of us, but how about this? It affects so much of us. We see it so much. People just taking credit for everything and not acknowledging, guess what? I didn't get here on my own. People need to hear that they didn't do things on their own. That can definitely help break stigma, of, hey, guess what? I need support. I need this. I need that. And some things I can do on my own. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to. Listen, I can go slap a baby in the face. That doesn't mean I have to. But it's like, it's a can. I have 2 hands. You know what I mean? I can walk up to a baby. We can do a lot of things. That doesn't mean we have to do it. Now, obviously, that's an extreme example, but it's the same principle of just because we can do something doesn't mean we have to. And then also, we also need to normalize acknowledging I can't do it on my own. Even if I tried, and I am trying, I can't. I need help. I need support. I need this. I need that. Can someone help me give exposure to this episode? Can someone help me look up ways to cope when I'm having an anxiety attack? Things of that nature. And I'm not just saying just me. I'm using personal examples, but I'm also generalizing it for everyone else, because I'm sure we can all look at areas in our life where, if we're being honest with ourselves, that's another thing. We got to be honest. Let's cut the bullshit. Let's cut the bull crap of doing it all on our own. We got to stop that. We have to stop that. It is okay to need others. You're a human being. You're a human being. Okay? You're a human being. Yeah. So I think it's important that we normalize saying, hey, I'm trying my best and I can't do it. I can't complete it. All I can do is try. I can't complete it. But in order to complete it, I need someone's help. If we could just go back to that type of mindset, I think society and things would look a lot different. I think things would be a lot more accepting, a lot more understanding. I think the masks that we have all been conditioned to wear, a lot of those masks have a bunch of poison on the mask. And when we put the mask on, we're poisoning ourselves, So I feel like us normalizing and destigmatizing, dependency, we can learn ourselves more, learn about each other more, and just get more shit done, get more shit accomplished because we had help, why get something done in 50 years by yourself when you can do it within 5 days, within 50 days, because you asked for help? It does not have to be this, I'm going to have to do it on my own all the time. That is the dumbest thing ever. If humans were meant to do it on our own, we would not survive. Literally, we would not survive. They weren't alone in the caveman Neanderthal days. It was a communal tribal healing. It literally took a village to raise kids. It was together. Humans have been able to evolve because we are together. I think society gaslighting us, and notice I'm putting the blame on higher society. I'm not putting the blame on us. This device that we're listening to any podcast on, it wasn't just one person that built the device. It wasn't just one person. For example, I'm listening on an iPhone. I know we give Steve Jobs the credit, but we don't talk about those other two guys that was with him from the start that helped him get to where he's at. We don't talk about the whole factory, the whole Apple factory of people, of folks making the phones so that I can have the phone in order to listen to whatever I want on the phone. So, in a sense, we're kind of like conditioned to gaslight ourselves, to think we have to do it on our own, when literally almost everything around us was built as a collective. The roads that we drive on, it wasn't just one construction worker, building the road. If that was the case, then it would take a long time for that one highway to get built. But because it was done together, many highways have been built in an extremely short amount of time compared to one person building many highways. So we are a lot more evolved because we leaned on each other. So this whole modern age individualistic mindset, it's disgusting. It disgusts me. I feel like it kills a lot of people. I mean that metaphorically, and I mean that literally. Hashtag male suicide rates are still going up. A lot of that qualitative research speaking, I'm not just pulling this out of my ass, but a lot of it is due to stigma. That stigma like, just face it on your own. Seriously, can we just be honest here? You're a fucking human being. You're a fucking human being. Okay? You're a fucking human being. You need people. You might not want to need people because that's how we were conditioned. But if we stop gaslighting ourselves and if we be honest, we need people. Take away all the conditioning, right? Then what's left? The need for needing people, which was there all along. The only difference is the need for people is now met with societal conditioning. And so now those two mindsets, our true mindset and the societal mindset, are now at war within us, right? It's at war within us, So now we're just like, I know I need help, but no, I can do this on my own. No, I can do this on my own. Swallow the pride, swallow the ego, okay? You're a human being. You're not a robot, right? You're a human being for a reason. You're not AI. You're not a robot in a factory, and even those robots weren't built by themselves, okay? Like, multiple people came together with an idea and they implement that action and things happen. And now we get to enjoy it. Why? Because multiple people came together and decided to do something together. And now we enjoy it. I enjoy my iPhone, except when I watch pornography on it. I enjoy my iPhone. In every other aspect, I enjoy my iPhone. Why? Because multiple people came together with an idea, and they made this phone. Steve Jobs and those 2-3 other guys that were with him from the start that don't get the credit. We got to change that. Am I right? I don't know their names. But anyways, thanks to them, now a whole world enjoys an iPhone. We can't get our eyes off of it. So, because of collaboration, because of community, we are seeing enjoyment. We are able to thrive quicker, better. All this medicine that we take, Tylenol, when you got a goddamn headache, when the headache is headaching, you take Tylenol. It wasn't one person that made Tylenol. It was a collective. It was a collaborative thing. The manufacturer's collaborative, but because folks do things together, now when I have a headache, I don't have a headache anymore because I take that Tylenol. Just like how everything that we are around was built by multiple people, we need to acknowledge the multitude within it. Multiple people. In that same, acknowledgement, we also got to acknowledge that when it comes to emotional and mental health, when it comes to our emotional and mental needs as humans, we need other humans. If you didn't need other humans, you wouldn't have sexual desires. You wouldn't feel lonely sometimes. If you didn't need other humans, then you would have built your own house. Okay? You would have built your own house. You would have made your own phone. Yeah. You would have built your own highways. You would have built the school that you went to. You would have built the car that you drive on your own if you didn't need humans. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't do all that. I can't do all of that. If I do want to do all of that, I got to go talk to someone who does know how to do that. I got to work with them. I would not fucking build a car, by the way. I'm not going to do that. I'd explode something. Something would be exploded. And we don't need that. But yeah, so I'm stressing the importance of, we got to cut the bullshit. We got to be honest with ourselves. And we got to be honest with others. The best that we can. It's a process. Take your time with it. Take your time being honest. It's a slow process sometimes. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. But we got to be eventually come to a point where we start that process of being honest enough with ourselves to say, I need help. I'm not just preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to myself. I'm the person. I am the champion. Right now, when it comes to certain projects that I'm doing, I am the champion of not asking for help because I'm too scared, because I'm afraid of the rejection, because many times when I have asked for help, I was rejected. And there have been many times where I asked for help and it was the best thing I could ever do. was ask for help. And things got fixed in an instant. However, the hurt, it's felt more. So when I'm wanting to ask for help, I feel the rejection harder than I feel the happiness. I feel the rejection harder than I feel the acceptance. That's also something we got to look into, is why does, and that's what I'm going to go to therapy for, why does rejection hurt worse than acceptance? That's not that way with everyone, but with a lot of us it is. I know for me that it ties into childhood. Oh yes, the childhood. Yup. Woo! A lot of inner work there, inner child work. Our child deserves it. They don't deserve to be neglected. That's ridiculous. If we're gonna live with it, might as well comfort and hug it and listen to it and see what it needs. See what it needs. See what the inner child needs. But because of multiple things in my childhood, rejection, I feel rejection more than I feel acceptance. You know, not saying that I get rejected more than I get accepted. No, I get accepted more than I get rejected. 1000%. However, I feel the rejection 10 times harder than I feel acceptance. You know, and that's because my inner child has a guard up. It has a familiarity up. You know, it knows. Growing up, my inner child, when I was a kid, I knew what rejection was. I didn't learn what acceptance was until high school, until I was like 15. That's when I knew what acceptance was. But for ages 1 to 14, all I knew was rejection. And so I'm seeing now how that wound, it has been showing up in other areas of my life, because that's what it does. You don't even got to recognize it. It's there. It shows up in many of ways. That's the thing. It shows up as symptoms. It manifests as symptoms. It manifests as actions, as mindsets, as grudges. Like when every time this person looks at you crazy, it just stays on your mind. You get so angry at it for like a whole week. You know, maybe that's from something. But anyways, when it comes to rejection, because it is an area in my life that I have not addressed, an area in my inner child, that I have not fully addressed yet and fully understood where it's fully coming from, it has now been seeping into my life in many of ways. And one of that ways is me being scared to ask for support. I hate the feeling of rejection. I know rejection is necessary now in my life. I know it. I do believe that for my life now, rejection can be a redirection, you know, and there are many places or things that have rejected me. And I'm so grateful that they rejected me. Like looking back on it, I was like, wow, there was something better. Or wow, I dodged a bullet. Thank y'all for rejecting me. Shit, I dodged a motherfucking bullet. But, you know, that's the adult me that knows that. My inner child does not know that yet. And I haven't been able to sit and teach my inner child about rejection. Why? Because I haven't been communicating with my inner child about rejection. My inner child needs to learn from an adult. It needs to learn from a parent. Me right now, my age, I'm the parent. I'm the adult for my inner child. It's time that I stop neglecting him. It's time. If you're resonating with this, go ahead and give this podcast a share. Or I dare you, please do this. People need to be supporting each other. So I challenge you with this. I dare you to randomly text someone right now. Text them and tell them you are important and you are worthy. Tell them that they are important and they are worthy. Tell them that you're glad they're in your life. I dare you to do that for them. With that being said, it's been another episode of Honor Believe Time. See you next time. Bye!